Have you ever sat down to read a book or start a crossword puzzle, something you used to enjoy for hours, and found yourself drifting off after just a few minutes? Or maybe you've started a task, like organizing a drawer or writing an email, and halfway through your mind just sort of gives up. If so, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not losing your edge. Your brain is just telling you it needs a little support. You see, mental endurance is a bit like physical stamina. When we're young, it comes naturally. We could focus for hours, multitask like pros, and still have energy left over. But as we age, just like muscles, our mental strength needs a little more warming up, a bit more care, and yes, a smart routine to keep it in shape. The good news is this: you absolutely can build mental endurance again, and not just to survive the day, but to thrive. To feel sharp, engaged, alive in your own thoughts. And in this video, we're going to walk through 5 smart, simple practices to help you do just that, to feel more mentally alert, focused, and energized, just like you did decades ago. Let's ease in together, one small step at a time. Now, one of the most important things you can do, and this may surprise you, is to stop trying to do everything at once. We grew up in a world that praised multitasking. Juggling housework while helping with homework. Cooking dinner while listening to the news and planning tomorrow's errands. It felt productive at the time. But here's the thing, multitasking is a mental drain. Especially after 60, it doesn't help you feel sharper, it actually burns through your focus faster. Instead, mental endurance grows when you do one thing at a time with your full attention. When you choose one task, no matter how small, and give it your full presence, something shifts. Your mind settles. It stretches, like a muscle in motion. And over time, you train it to hold focus longer, not by force, but by gentle discipline. Start small. Maybe it's washing the dishes without any background noise. Maybe it's finishing one page of your book without checking your phone. The goal isn't perfection, it's practice. The second practice is something we often overlook, but it's powerful: take scheduled mental breaks. You might think taking a break means you're slacking off or not building endurance. But the truth is, rest is part of endurance. Even elite athletes know that muscles grow stronger during recovery. Your brain is no different. When you sit and focus, whether it's reading, writing, or even deep conversation, your brain is working hard behind the scenes. Giving it a 5-minute break every hour or so isn't a sign of weakness. It's a smart way to recharge your focus so it lasts longer throughout the day. During these breaks, don't just switch to another screen. Stand up, stretch, look out the window, drink some water. Breathe. Even a minute of closing your eyes and listening to the rhythm of your breath can reset your mind in powerful ways. You'd be surprised how many people, even much younger than you, struggle with brain fog simply because they never give their mind a chance to pause. Now here's something that might sound a little old-fashioned, but it works like magic. Mental endurance builds best through simple structure. That means setting a rhythm to your day, even if you're retired, even if you don't have appointments or obligations. Having gentle routines, like a specific time for a morning walk, a moment for reading after lunch, or a crossword at 4 p.m., helps your mind know what to expect. Structure saves your brain from decision fatigue. It creates space for mental clarity by removing clutter and chaos. You don't have to plan every minute. Just anchor your day with a few regular moments of mindful activity. That rhythm becomes a kind of music for your mind, one that helps you stay tuned in instead of zoning out. And don't worry if you're not a schedule person. You don't need a calendar filled with boxes. Just think of structure like a familiar path in your backyard. The more often you walk it, the easier and more enjoyable it becomes. One of my favorite stories is from a man named Raymond. He's 72, retired, and used to feel like the days just melted together. He said, "I'd start reading and then forget what I read. I'd go to the store and forget why I went." So he started a small practice. He gave his mornings a shape. Journal, 5 minutes of deep breathing. Just that. Within a month, he noticed his focus came back, and his sense of calm, too. That little bit of rhythm, he said, was like giving my brain a warm-up routine each day. That's what we're after, a gentle return to feeling grounded, alert, and fully present in your own life. So now that we've touched on the importance of focused attention, breaks, and structure, let's keep going. There are still more practices to explore, small shifts that can dramatically change how long and how well you stay mentally energized throughout the day. If you're still watching and feel that these insights are meaningful, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Now that we've talked about the power of focused attention, taking real breaks, and building simple daily structure, let's look at what I consider the secret sauce of mental endurance. Something that not only keeps your brain sharp but actually brings you joy at the same time. And that is learning something new. You might think, at my age, do I really need to be learning new things? But let me tell you, your brain loves novelty. It thrives on challenge. Not stress, not pressure, but meaningful challenge. And when you give your brain something unfamiliar to work on, even for just 10 minutes a day, you're strengthening it in a way that's similar to lifting weights at the gym. Now, I'm not talking about going back to school or learning a foreign language overnight. I mean small, manageable things that stretch your thinking just enough. Maybe it's trying a new recipe with ingredients you've never used, or picking up a puzzle you've never done before. Maybe it's watching a documentary on a topic you never explored, or learning how to use a new app on your phone, even if it takes a few tries. Every time you engage with something unfamiliar, you're forming new neural pathways. You're telling your brain, we're still growing. We're still curious. And that's the key. Mental endurance is less about pushing hard and more about staying mentally alive. Staying curious. I met a woman named Edna, 76 years old, who taught herself how to sketch during the pandemic. Not because she wanted to become an artist, just because she was bored and curious. And now, every morning, she draws for 15 minutes while drinking her tea. She said, "It wakes me up in a different way. My mind feels fresher, more awake, like I'm lighting a fire gently instead of flipping on a switch." That's exactly what new learning does. It builds strength through creativity. And it keeps your inner world colorful and moving forward, even when life slows down. Now, here's something that goes hand in hand with new learning, and it's something we don't talk about enough: social stimulation. Staying mentally alert isn't just about books and puzzles. It's about people. It's about conversation. It's about connection. Think about it. When you talk with someone, especially about something interesting or meaningful, your brain is doing 100 things at once. It's listening, remembering, forming thoughts, choosing words, reading body language, adjusting tone. It's a full workout, and the best part is, it doesn't feel like work at all. Whether it's a phone call with a friend, a chat with your neighbor, or even commenting thoughtfully in an online group, these small interactions keep your brain engaged in dynamic, spontaneous ways. You don't need a crowd. One good conversation a day can do wonders for your mental endurance. If you're someone who tends to be more introverted or lives alone, here's a gentle suggestion: find ways to interact that feel low pressure but still meaningful. Join a book club. Take a short community class. Or even set up a call and tea tradition with a loved one, just 20 minutes once a week to share thoughts, stories, and laughter. You might be surprised how deeply this impacts your ability to focus, recall details, and stay energized throughout the day. Because let's be honest, loneliness doesn't just affect your heart. It dulls your mind. And connection, even in small doses, brightens it again. And that leads us into another core practice, one that supports everything we've talked about so far. And that is movement. Gentle, regular movement. You've probably heard this 100 times, but here's what most people don't realize: movement isn't just good for your body. It's essential for your brain. When you move, whether it's walking, stretching, dancing in the kitchen, you're increasing blood flow to your brain. You're feeding it oxygen. You're helping it flush out toxins and spark new activity. You don't have to run marathons. You don't even need to break a sweat. Just keep your body in motion regularly, especially in the morning or early afternoon, and you'll notice your focus lasts longer. Your thinking feels clearer. Your energy doesn't dip so suddenly. One man I spoke with, a retired teacher, told me he started walking to the mailbox and back every hour, just as an excuse to stretch his legs. It's only about 40 steps each way, he said, but it's like pressing reset on my brain. That's the kind of simple power we're talking about here. You don't need big, flashy habits. You just need thoughtful ones, done consistently, with care. So as you move through your day, ask yourself, when was the last time I gave my brain something new? When was the last time I had a truly meaningful conversation? Am I sitting too long without giving my body and my mind a break? You don't need to do it all at once. Just pick one small thing and try it. Then tomorrow, try one more. This is how mental endurance is built, not with pressure, but with steady, joyful progress. Because here's the truth, your brain may be older, but it's still growing. Still learning. Still capable of more than you think, when given the chance. You are not behind. You are not fading. You are training, wisely, slowly, just like any strong mind would. Let's keep going. You've already seen how focusing on one task at a time, taking real breaks, maintaining a simple structure, learning something new, staying socially engaged, and moving regularly can gently, steadily rebuild your mental strength. And now, it's time for one final piece, one that many overlook, but it ties everything together like the bow on a carefully wrapped gift. That is, mental endurance needs meaning. It's not just about keeping your brain busy or doing exercises to stay sharp. True, lasting endurance comes from having something you care about. A reason to think. A reason to show up fully. Because when your mind has a why, it becomes naturally resilient. Focus lasts longer. Curiosity returns. And forgetfulness takes a back seat to purpose. Think about the moments in your life when your brain felt most alive, not just alert, but engaged. Chances are, those moments involved something meaningful. Helping someone. Creating something. Learning because you wanted to, not because you had to. That spark? That's mental endurance in its purest form, when you're not forcing yourself to pay attention, but you're drawn in by what you're doing. So if you're wondering how to keep your brain sharp well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, start by asking this gentle question. What matters to me now? Maybe it's sharing your story with your grandchildren. Maybe it's starting a small garden and learning to grow herbs. Maybe it's volunteering once a week, or finally writing down those life lessons you've gathered through the decades. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be yours. Something that lights you up even a little. Because that tiny flame is enough to fuel your brain with purpose, and nothing trains the mind like purpose does. One man I met, Harold, 81, started mentoring teenagers online. Just once a week. He said, "It gives me something to look forward to. I prepare. I think deeply. I want to be sharp for them." And you know what? He is. Not because he's trying to avoid decline, but because he's chasing meaning. That's the real trick, isn't it? When you love what you're doing, or even just care about it, your mind rises to meet the moment. So now, as we bring everything together, I want to remind you of something simple, but powerful. Your brain is still with you. It may get tired. It may forget a few names. But it's still capable of strength, clarity, focus, and even joy. And like any muscle, it responds to care, to consistency, to kindness. Mental endurance doesn't mean powering through exhaustion or pushing harder when you're already drained. It means building the habits that support your focus. It means resting when needed, learning for pleasure, connecting with others, and moving your body as a gift, not a punishment. And above all, it means doing what matters to you. So let's take a moment now. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale. Hold. And exhale slowly. Feel that clarity? That space? That's the place you can return to every day, not with force, but with intention. A few minutes here, a short walk there, a conversation that fills your heart. This is how we build mental endurance. Gently. Consistently. Joyfully. You don't need to become who you were at 30. Because the truth is, you are wiser now. You've lived. You've learned. And that experience, combined with a little daily effort, can take you farther than ever, not backwards, but forward in a deeper, more meaningful way. So here's what I'd love from you now. If something in this video spoke to you, if one of these habits made you pause and think, yes, I can do that, let me know in the comments. What's one practice you're excited to try this week? I'd truly love to hear from you. And if you found this helpful, give it a like so we can reach more people just like you, folks who are ready to build strength and clarity at any age. Hit subscribe for more simple, uplifting tips to help you stay sharp, feel stronger, and live with intention. Because you deserve to feel good in your mind. You deserve clarity. You deserve a brain that supports you, not just for survival, but for living fully. Here's to mental strength, one thoughtful step at a time. And here's to you, still growing, still thriving, and still mentally powerful. Take care of your beautiful mind. You've still got so much more to think, do, and enjoy. See you in the next one.